the Senate voting unanimously on a non-binding resolution to oppose giving Russia access to U.S. officials. Vladimir Putin making the proposal in exchange for allowing special counsel Robert Mueller access to the 12 Russians indicted by the Justice Department. Putin made the suggestion during that Helsinki news conference with President Trump, calling out my next guest by name. Watch this.
We can actually permit official representatives of the United States, including the members of this very commission headed by Mr. Mueller, we can let them into the country and they will be present at this questioning. Then we would expect that the Americans would reciprocate, and we can bring up Mr. Browder in this particular case.
Bring up Mr. Browder in this particular case. Joining us right now is the man, Bill Browder. He is the CEO of Hermitage Capital Management and a thorn in Putin's side now for several years. Bill, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks very much for joining us.
Great to be here.
Look, I know you a lot of years, Bill, and we've talked about your story for a lot of years. But even then, for me, after knowing the story as well as I do, I got chills down my back when I heard Vladimir Putin mention your name. What did you think?
Well, I should point out that he's been mentioning my name on a regular basis for the last 6 years. In fact, I would go so far as to say that Vladimir Putin is obsessed with me. He's obsessed because I was the one responsible for getting the Magnitsky Act passed in 2012, which sanctions Putin and his corrupt cronies for human rights violations, and he hates that.
So tell us about that, because just to briefly go through your story, at one point you were one of the leading investors in Russia. You owned a lot of Russian companies, Russian stocks in your Hermitage Capital Fund. You were living between Moscow and London. You were traveling back and forth all the time. When you became aware of corruption going on, oligarchs stealing money from Russian companies, you wanted it stopped. You started to become more of an active investor, calling out this. And then what happened, Bill?
Well, so after exposing corruption in these big companies like Gazprom, Putin expelled me from the country, declared me a threat to national security. The police then raided my offices in Moscow, seized all my documents. I had a young lawyer named Sergei Magnitsky start to investigate, and he figured out that they seized those documents to steal $230 million of taxes that we paid to the Russian government. He exposed it. He was then arrested by some of the people he exposed, put in pretrial detention, tortured for 358 days, and then killed at the age of 37 in a Russian prison on November 16th, 2009.
Wow.
And since then, I put aside everything else I'm doing on a mission to get justice for Sergei Magnitsky, which has resulted in the Magnitsky Act, which Putin hates me so much for.
And the Magnitsky Act basically protects companies and punishes those who try to have fraud and stealing of the wealth by the oligarchs. And Putin is upset by that. Let's show you the Wall Street Journal editorial board wrote a piece about you this weekend saying Donald Trump meet Bill Browder. It begins like this. Vladimir Putin knows what he wants from Donald Trump, and one priority is help in silencing businessman and human rights advocate Bill Browder. Someone should tell Mr. Trump that he and Mr. Browder were both targeted by Fusion GPS, the political gun for hire that midwife the Steele dossier in 2016. Tell us what happened with you and Fusion GPS, Bill.
So just a little bit of background on the story. So the Department of Justice discovered that that there was some of the money from the Magnitsky case in New York. They opened up a criminal case against a Russian oligarch, and Fusion GPS came in to work for the Russian oligarch for Natalia Veselnitskaya, who is the Russian oligarch's lawyer. So Fusion GPS, the firm that did the Trump dossier, started to do a smear campaign on me. And they put together all of Natalia Veselnitskaya's talking points about me for the Trump Tower meeting where she went in to speak with Donald Trump Jr. And I would deduce that Fusion GPS and Glenn Simpson therefore put together the same talking points for Vladimir Putin because they were the same talking points in Trump Tower. So in that Helsinki meeting last week, Vladimir Putin said a whole bunch of stuff about me. And as far as I can tell, I think that those talking points came from Glenn Simpson.
Well, the Senate voted down any idea that the Russians would be able to question you. And Donald Trump obviously agreed with that. So that's not happening. But I've seen some of your quotes in the press. You're afraid that if, in fact, that were to happen, you're a dead man.
Well, basically, even if there's only a 1% chance of it happening, if I get handed over to the Russians and to Vladimir Putin, I will be killed. There's no question about it. They made death threats on a number of occasions. A number of other people connected to this case have either been killed or attempted to be killed. Vladimir Putin wants me dead. This is not. This is a very serious matter.
Now, the charges that he levels against you, which were all debunked, we should say, but he says you avoided taxes in Russia and in the U.S. and that you gave hundreds of millions of dollars to Hillary Clinton. Your reaction?
Well, he's been throwing out charges against me like candy. These particular charges have been analyzed by the U.S. Department of Justice, by the British government, by Interpol, by the German government, and have all been rejected outright. It's just complete nonsense. In terms of the Hillary Clinton campaign contributions, I've given zero contributions to Hillary Clinton in any campaign. I do not make U.S. campaign contributions. And in fact, this $400 million number that he threw out, they then walked back to $400,000 the next day, and the real number is zero.
You know, it's an interesting situation because when you look at the past in terms of Vladimir Putin, there's your story, there's Mikhail Khodorkovsky, Garry Kasparov, the chess champion, was thrown in jail, not to mention the endless number of murders of journalists in Russia and enemies of Putin. Then again, Russia and the U.S. control 90% of the world's nuclear capability. What does President Trump do? He has to work with the other partner of the nuclear capability, no? But it's important to put a picture together of who Vladimir Putin is.
Well, I think that President Trump should do what Ronald Reagan did. I mean, Russia and the Soviet Union have had these nuclear warheads for a long time. Ronald Reagan knew what to do, which was to contain the Soviet Union, and Donald Trump should contain Russia. This is not, you don't make friends and buddy-buddy up to a hostile, malign power. And that's what that 98-0 vote was about, and every other vote in Congress about Russia. This is not a partisan thing. This is it's un-American to do anything other than contain Vladimir Putin.
It feels at this point we are seeing a new era, and it seems that the president understands who this person is. But we will keep watching that. Bill Browder, it's good to have you on the program this morning. Thanks very much. And we are not saying where you are coming to us from. We understand the danger you are in.